Taking My Time, But I Don't Know Where. Written by cosmicocean on AO3. Read by Alextris. Chapter 24. It only takes another week for Barnes to go back to following Steve in the mornings again. Barnes sees Peter off to school and hops on the train to Manhattan. He follows Steve back from the coffee shop, goes to the M&M store, and comes back. May and Peter roll their eyes when he gives them the candy, now that they know where he's getting it, but he notices, crucially, that they do not turn down the fucking chocolate. He keeps his clothing nondescript, sunglasses and baseball cap on, hair pulled back. It's good to see him, Barnes thinks. A little easier every time. Barnes has started following him earlier and earlier, and after about a month, Barnes follows him as he jogs through the park. Bitter February, and Barnes is absolutely sure the tower's got all kinds of exercise equipment he could be using, but he still goes out on to jog in the cold. Nutcase, Barnes thinks fondly. Absolute nutcase. Steve bends over to tie his shoelace, and Barnes stops with him. Steve, ever so slightly, angles his head in Barnes' direction. The hackles stand up on the back of his neck. Barnes jerks to the side, but he can't dodge who tackles him. Barnes bares his teeth and falters when he sees Natalia pinning him down. "Natalia?" he asks. Natalia looks thrown. "Shit!" She glances over her shoulder. "Make it look convincing." Barnes hoists himself up, knocking Natalia off him. He punches Natalia in the face, taking care to use his flesh arm. He doesn't pause to see if she's okay, just taking off. He can hear footsteps racing behind him. He doesn't look back, keeping running. He doesn't know if he can actually outrun him. Steve goes jogging more often than Barnes does, and he's always been fast. Barnes just has to count on being squirrelier than him. Barnes takes a sharp corner. There's a series of markets here. He dives right into a thicket of people. Steve's always been politer than him. He's going to take care not to knock people over, and it's going to slow him down. Barnes bursts into a Russian market. The little old lady behind the counter looks up, startled. "Извинайте, дорогой," he pants. "Но мне нужно скрыть." "Ванная комната," she answers immediately. "Сзади." Barnes slips into the bathroom, locking it behind him. He presses against the back of the wall. No window in the bathroom. He's stuck there, for better or worse. He hears footsteps on the other side of the door, watches the knob rattle. "Bathroom is locked," old woman shouts. "Toilet is backed up. Cannot go in there." "Excuse me, ma'am," Barnes hears Steve say, a little out of breath. And God, hearing his voice again, this close, even with everything that's going on, it's a whole other rush. "But I'm looking for a man. Did he ran out back, almost knocked over Priyanik." "Thank you, ma'am." Barnes hears Steve run off. He takes a deep breath and opens the door. "Spasibo, дорогая," he says. He grabs a boleto and puts a 20 on the counter. "Здесь не надо." "Остерегет себя," she answers. "Я стелю все возможное." Barnes pockets the candy and slips out the door, making a quick exit as he tosses the baseball cap and the sunglasses in a trash can on his way out the door. Barnes lies on his bed, staring at the ceiling. Too close. That had been way too close. He can't do that again. There's a part of him itching, desperate to say he should just pack up and flee the city, but he can't leave the kid and May like that. Hell, he doesn't want to leave the kid and May like that. There's a knock on the door. Barnes pulls a gun and silently pulls up, peering through the peephole. He holsters the gun and opens it. The second it's open far enough, Natalia shoves him hard, slamming the door behind her. She slaps him, and he staggers back a few steps, having wholly unexpected it. "Ow!" he yelps. "What the fuck is wrong with you?" she shouts. "I didn't think he'd see me. He is a fucking covert operative. You'd think he doesn't know when he's being followed." "I was a covert operative, and I'm good at—" "Not good enough!" Natalia shoves him again. "Don't fucking do that again. You want to see him? Just fucking talk to him. Don't put me in that position. Pretending I never saw you is one thing. Out and out lying is another." "I'm sorry." Barnes has his hands up, bracing for another attack. "I'm sorry, Natalia." They stare at each other, breathing heavy. There's a bruise forming on her cheek that makes him feel guilty to look at. "I got you a boleto," he says eventually. Natalia squints. "Hand it over." "It's on my nightstand." Natalia goes into his room and picks it up. She sits on Barnes's bed, opening it up. Hesitantly, he sits next to her. "Did he get a good look at me?" he asks. "No." Natasha takes a bite of the chocolate. "I told him I recognized you. Ex-KGB. Said you'd be on a boat back to Russia by now." "Thank you." "When did he notice me?" "Back before Christmas. When you didn't come back, he thought he was being paranoid. Noticed right away when you started up again." Barnes is quiet as Natalia takes another bite of chocolate. "I'm sorry I hit you." "I don't care that you hit me. People hit me all the time. I care that I lied to someone I care about." "I'm sorry that you felt like you had to lie for me. And I'm sorry that I was the one to hit you. I hurt you too much." Natalia gives him a long look. "We got home from a rough mission," she tells him. "A long one, or one where we couldn't save enough people. And he rolls out of a shower into the socks you made him. Every time." Barnes has had knives in the gut that hit less. He grits his teeth, looking to the side. "I'm not the man he knew," he says. "I'm somebody else. I'm somebody who'll damn near killed him." "He doesn't care. He wants you in whatever form you come in, and I think you should let him have you. None of this weird stalker shit." "Weird stalker shit is what I'm good at." "Yeah, well, weird stalker shit is no way to have a relationship." Natalia drops the rest of the chocolate in a bag it came from and folds it over. "Not hungry?" "Rest of it is for Clint." "He knows about this, huh?" "I wouldn't keep it from him." "Yeah, that's good. It must be nice to have someone you don't keep secrets from." "You have one too. You just won't take him." They sit in silence. Quietly, Barnes leans his head on Natalia's shoulder. Natalia wraps her arms around him. Barnes reaches up to hold on to them. "Being a person, especially with our background, is hard," she says. "It's miserable, and more days than not it's a fight. But sometimes you find a person who makes that slog worth it. All the pain, all the trauma, every little bit of anguish you survived up to that point, it doesn't matter. Because it led you to them. We were that once. And now we've got other people. Sometimes Clint's the only thing that gets me out of bed in the morning. Mostly he isn't. But sometimes he is. And you've got someone worth rolling out of bed for. And James, it just fucking kills me that you won't take the opportunity. That you won't let yourself feel that much better." "I've still got healing to do." "You always will. That's what life is. Life is healing. If you shy away from shit just because you're not healed all the way yet, you'll never get anything done." They sit in silence. "I would have made you socks," Barnes tells her eventually. "I just didn't want Steve to see 'em." "Yeah, well," Natalia sniffs. "Rather have ones you practice at anyway. The ones you gave Steve were pretty shit." Barnes laughs softly. "Wow." "Just saying." Barnes looks at her. "You want to stay for a bit?" "I'd better get back. I told Steve I was scouring the area, just in case. Eventually he'll figure out I'm not." Natalia gets to her feet. "Sort your shit out, Barnes." "Yeah, I'll think about it." "Send all my love to Bex." Barnes groans. "Oh, Christ, don't make me tell her that." The result of being an 89-year-old queer broad, apparently, is that you no longer give a shit, which means that whenever Becky and Natalia are in the same vicinity, Becky hits on her relentlessly. Natalia grins. "Bye, James." "Bye, Natalia." Natalia takes the boleto and walks out, leaving Barnes to think. To clarify from the reader, I do not speak a single word of Russian, and I literally just Googled how to pronounce these words. So, great apologies if it was terribly, terribly butchered, but I did my best.